WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from That Boutique-y, not Whiskey Company, but Rye Company. I kind of like how they just put that little thing on top of there, yeah. And then we have here those three people that we'll talk about in a second. This is Peerless Straight Rye Whiskey, distilled at Peerless Distillery, Louisville, Kentucky, aged 3 years, batch 1. One of 406 bottles, 0.5 liters, 49.1% ABV. All right, good. So I did the math. 49.1% is probably not cask strength. Shame on you, because 406 does not fit into a new charred oak standard barrel after 3 years. So they actually diluted it down to 49.1%. Why? Why? All right, so good. I paid 78 euros for this. 78 euros for a 0.5 liter bottle. Now, That Boutique-y Whisky Company, a rye company, is very famous for actually bringing brand new products to the market. They have things from New Zealand, from Australia, from the USA, from England, from all over, even from Germany, all over the world, that they'll just actually call up and contact and say, hey, do you have a barrel? We can bottle it, and boom, they do that. And so they're very exotic. And of course, the little pictures here are also nice, but this is actually taken from the website here. This is actually the picture one from, just literally copy and pasted from the website of Peerless. And these pictures up above here are the three people that are very, very important here. All right, so let's talk about some of these people that are important at the distillery. So if we go back a little bit in history, we will have the original Peerless Distillery was called the Worsham Distilling Company, Kentucky Peerless Distilling Company. And it began all in Henderson, Kentucky in the early 1880s. Now, in 1889, Peerless whiskey production began to flourish under the leadership of the entrepreneur and the ancestor, Henry Carvey. All right, this guy here, by the way. All right, and he wasted no time updating machinery, investing in warehouses that actually became U.S. federally bonded following the 1897 Bottled and Bond Act. So imagine being part of that back then. It's like, hey, okay, up until then we did it our own. Now we're under federal guidance or governments. And it's like, oh, who knows, but we want to be part of the Bottled and Bond thing. We want to be part, and they did that. And then they rose from about 8 barrels a day in production up to 200 barrels a day. Yay! Very, very good. And even up into the 1920s, okay, starting with Prohibition now, those federally bonded warehouses were used for whiskey storage under the armed protection of the U.S. government. All right, so and the Peerless products were also one of the few available by prescription from medicine or medicinal use. All right. So, and the very, very, very interesting is that the Kentucky Peerless Distilling had the so-called DSP number, Distilled Spirits Plant. They're now up in the tens of thousands for Kentucky, and they had the number 50, and they're very, very proud of that. So the person who actually now restarted the whole distilling thing is Corky. All right, so Corky is a great guy. I actually met him in Louisville, Kentucky, shook his hand. I was doing a tour there, had, I think, my WhiskyJason t-shirt on, and then he came out and said, hey, where are you from? I said, I'm from Germany. And he was like, hey, and then we talked, and he actually signed my bottle, and it's now hidden away very, very nicely. Had to go buy a second bottle because I wasn't going to open that one up now, would I? And so downtown Louisville, you have the Hall of Fame for baseball on the one street. You have the nice little bourbon balls, those chocolate pralines you can buy there. And you go on a little side street and you go walk down to the river and you see then Kentucky Peerless Distilling. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place inside. It is a very, very great thing to do. They have a 2,500 gallon cooker. They have 6 fermentation tanks, sweet mash, not sour mash. They have a 26-foot continuous copper still, and everything's from Vendome. Very, very nice stuff there. So they're doing good stuff. They even have a great master distiller. His name is Caleb Kilburn. So Corby and Caleb met up. Caleb's a fairly young guy, but he knows his stuff, and I would actually call him a master distiller myself. All right, so, and if everything works out right in the year 2022, My partners and I here in Germany, n10bourbons.com, will actually introduce Peerless to the German market. Yay! So we will have the New Riff, we'll have the Wilderness Trail, we'll have the Sagamore, and then we'll have the Peerless. Yeah, I'm happy. Good. Oh, talking about New Riff, I'm going to compare this. This is their normal Kentucky Straight Rye bottled and bond, 50%. This is 49.1. I'm a little disappointed that they did not actually, whoops, this is the glass I need, did not just bottle it at 50%. Come on, guys. I mean, you're doing good stuff at That Boutique-y Whisky Company, but why 49.1%? I just don't get that, all right? The couple of bottles you got out of it just doesn't make the difference. I would have loved to had the 50% to compare it to other things. Yes, it's only 3 years old, so therefore it's not bottled and bond, but still, who knows? All right, good. Let's nose them. Now, the very first thing I get here is it rye or is it a high rye bourbon? For me, it smells like a high rye bourbon. I went online, I tried to Google the mash bill for Peerless. It's a secret, apparently, unfortunately. So, transparency today, it would be nice. It's not really a trade secret what type of mash bill you're using, I think. Buffalo Trace totally disagrees with me, but I think, all right? And it's somewhat vegetal. It's more like that green pepper moment in there. All right, going over here to our other sweet mash. Sweet mash. Now, this smells like a good rye. Oh, I like this. I like New Riff anyways. New Riff is just a fantastic, fantastic thing here. I have the distilled in fall 2016 bottle here and the 2021. So this is, I think, my favorite bottle and bond that I have. My new product that came over here, this is actually a little bit older than it needs to be. And the new stuff was actually then fall of 2021 and then in the fall of 2017. So this is the older batch, and this is really, really good. Vanilla, Christmas spices, brown sugar, a little bit of a nuttiness, and that rye moment there, a toasted rye moment. Not a coffee toasted, milk toasted, but just a little bit toasted rye. Nice, nice, nice. Cheers, 49.1%. The vegetal exhibit Peerless here versus the exhibit New Riff there. Now, I remember when Peerless first came out, most people were somewhat shocked at the prices. They were asking like $100 per bottle. And people were like, guys, you're the new kid on the block. You don't ask $100 for a bottle of rye that's not even straight, that's not even 4 years old. That's just absolutely out of the ballpark. Don't even think about it. And they're like, here, try it. And I was like, that stuff's really good. I'm almost willing to pay $100 for it. And that's what happened here. And they now have the bourbons as well. I have not had a Peerless bourbon yet. I might actually get the first taste of Peerless bourbon when I import the bottles over here with my partners. But the rye I've had, and I've really, really liked it. That's been some good stuff. This particular barrel, and that's also the question I always ask, is who picked the barrel? So did the people from that Boutique-y Whiskey pick the barrel? I know a few of them from the live streams. They are a little quirky. Let's use that word very positively here. Maybe they went for a little bit of out in left field type of flavor profile. Or they were just assigned this. Take the barrel or not. Leave it or take it. And I think that this is not a true representation of Peerless, personal opinion. All right, it's very vegetal. It's not very rye. There's a little bit of a tiny sweetness there. It has a great mouthfeel, very thick viscosity, but that rye flavor just doesn't, in my opinion, shine through. All right, going over here to our New Riff. Price much cheaper than this. This is 100 euros. This is around 60 some over here. Very good stuff. Wow. All right. All right. This is a C whiskey. At a bad day, it's actually a C minus. I'm not particularly fond of it. I can put a little bit of water in here. Doesn't get much better. Value for money, it's a D. I would not recommend you going out there and going, hey, I found a 0.5 liter bottle of 3-year-old Peerless with some baseball cards on here. Look at the guys here. Focus, focus, focus. That's Caleb, by the way. That's Corky, and I mentioned him at the very beginning. So, Harvey, yeah, no. Spend your money on this. All right? If you can find New Riff, go buy it. I think that's that's the recommendation I can give here. Now, if you can find Peerless in your neck of the woods, and it's not from That Boutique-y Whisky Company, the single barrel here that's been diluted down to 49.1%, go for something else. Yeah, I'm sure they got some good stuff out there. It's a C, as I said. Is it bad? No. But is it excellent? Is it wow? Is it blowing your mind away? Absolutely not. Someone actually said it has a little bit of linseed oil. And when I read it, I was like, no, it's not. And I tasted it. I was like, yes, it is. This is not really wow. All right. So, WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany. Question of the day. There are so many new good distilleries in the United States, and we as importers over here to Germany and Europe are thinking about what brand should we have. What are the new brands we should look into that maybe don't have yet their export business set up to Europe yet? Would you have a recommendation of a brand that we should be looking at in particular? Now, you do not probably know which brands have already made it over here to Germany and Europe, but hey, I do. And so what would you say is one of the new brands out there from a new distillery that making their new product and making very high quality, good stuff? What would you have us maybe look into and try to get over here to Europe as well to share the love? I know some other people are like, don't tell them anything. Yeah, we want to keep it all for ourselves. I understand. All right. So, but do not forget, we're just talking about pallets here, yeah? So we're not talking about entire containers yet from one distillery. I think you can share that. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskey. Here, a single bottle of That Boutique-y Rye from Peerless, 3-year-old. Not my favorite, but I really do love my Bottom Bond from New Riff Rye. Thank you for sharing, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for telling others. All the best. Bye-bye.